of you has to read, and then we will discuss it. Okay? So normally Archana Didi is the one who reads.
Yes, Ranga, I'm reading.
Yeah. Okay.
But you'll have to change, tell me whether the change of paragraph because it is a bit different. Okay, I'm reading.
Yeah.
Second point of questioning emerges from the evidence given for the supraphysical and pre-physical existence of these dark opposites. For that suggests that they may be, after all, original cosmic principles. But it is to be noted that their appearance does not extend higher than the lower supraphysical life planes. They are powers of the Prince of Air, air being in the ancient symbolism the principle of life and therefore of the midworld, where the vital principle is predominant and essential. The adverse opposites then are not primal powers of the cosmos, but creations of life or of mind in life. Their supraphysical aspects and influences on earth nature can be explained by the coexistence of worlds of a descending involution with parallel worlds of an ascending evolution, not precisely created by earth existence, but created as an annex to the descending world order and a prepared support for the evolutionary terrestrial formations. Here, evil may appear not as inherent in all life, but as a possibility and a pre-formation that makes inevitable its formation in the evolutionary emergence of consciousness out of the inconscient. However, this may be, it is as an outcome of the inconscience that we can best watch and understand the origin of falsehood, error, wrong, and evil. For it is in the return of inconscience towards consciousness that they can be seen taking their formation, and it is there that they seem to be normal and even inevitable. Rangada, is the paragraph complete here?
Yes, it is complete here. For your, it is not complete.
Yes, it is complete. I just wanted to confirm because yesterday it was different. Okay, Rangada.
Yes. Yeah, quite right.
Okay.
So here is in this para, Swami is giving you the complete origin of falsehood, error, wrong, and evil. Very, very clearly. So we'll have a very good look. This is a solution. But he is also continuously saying that the tradition in the world all over, that there is evil and there is good in the universe, we have to see whether all the questionings that are coming, we have to deal with those questionings. Are they really there everywhere? In other words, are just like the seed contains a tree, is it possible that the Satchidananda contains also in seed form their opposites? That's what he's questioning. Okay. So, and he has told us very clearly right in the beginning that there is no such thing. The potentiality of evil, wrong, error, and evil is not there even in seed form in the Satchidananda. It is not there. It comes up much later. But the traditions all over the world are saying that good and evil are there everywhere. And spiritual experience also confirms that because the asuric tendencies are there and they bother you. Okay. They force evil on human beings. So this is what is the questioning. Okay. So now we go back to the beginning and very interesting. Read carefully and we will see what he's saying. So, second question is dealing with, are evil, wrongdoing, falsehood, suffering, are these things there everywhere in the supraphysical planes? He's asking. So, a second point of questioning whether all these negatives exist everywhere, emerges from the evidence given for the supraphysical and pre-physical existence of these dark opposites. Okay? Second point of questioning. And what is that? He'll tell you. For that suggests that they may be, after all, original cosmic principles. Okay? The Satchidananda may contain in seed form all these things, these opposites. Okay? So this is what is present. We'll have to look at that. Then he's answering, but it is to be noted that their appearance does not extend higher than the lower supraphysical planes. Now, what are the lower supraphysical planes? So, lower supraphysical plane is the first, there is matter. Okay, so that is very, very physical. Now, life is there. It's a lower supraphysical plane because we don't see the original life plane. What we see is the life plane's effects in the physical world. Now, note carefully what I'm saying. The life principle is above matter. We don't see that. What we see is when life principle is coming into matter and producing life. Insects, animals, human beings, we see only that. But we don't see the original principle of the vitality, the pranic plane, we don't see. Okay, that's the lower supraphysical planes. So, lower supraphysical planes, there are two: life principle and mind principle. Then above that, it is not, it goes to level 2, which is the other the higher supraphysical. Okay, so when Sri says the lower supraphysical, very clear what he's saying. I hope it is clear what I'm saying, because these things have to be very clearly understood. Lower supraphysical planes are life and mind, but in their pure planes of consciousness, not as you see them in the physical world. Okay, number one. Number two, higher supraphysical planes are the level 2 planes. Okay, the higher mind, the element mind, the intuitive mind, and the overmind, they are the higher supraphysical planes, which also you don't see. Okay, now they're saying they do not extend higher than the lower physical planes. In other words, what he's saying is that when you go to the higher mind, you don't see evil and all these things, you don't see them. You see them totally in a different way. That we have also explained. No? When you are in the physical world, you see good and bad, you see pain and suffering and all. But when you go to the Brahmic consciousness, which is the lowest of the higher supraphysical planes. Okay. So if you want to draw a chart, matter is one. Okay. Then there is life and mind, and they are pure planes of consciousness which we don't see. I keep on repeating so that it's very clear what I'm saying. Okay, so then these are the lower supraphysical planes. They are supraphysical because the life is something more than matter. So it's a supraphysical. Okay. Then the higher supraphysical planes start at level 2, as I said. Okay. You don't see them also. But when you go there, you see that the evil and all these things don't exist there. That's what he's saying. Okay. They don't exist. You start seeing them in a totally different way. And what is a different way? As I said, I gave you the example of wind. Okay. This is only one example. Wind is, when it is gentle, it is very, very pleasant to you. When it is very hard, like the Bichaung that came and has created havoc in Tamil Nadu, okay, that is the, you see it as an evil. Okay, but when you go to the higher level, you don't see the two ends, you see only the wind. So evil has disappeared. Okay, even good has disappeared. Okay, so that's at the higher Brahmic consciousness level. That's what Srimad pointing out. But it is to be noted that their appearance, the appearance of what? These negative things, dark opposites, appearance of these dark opposites does not extend higher than the lower supraphysical planes. Very clear. Once we understand the words, it is very clear. Okay. They are powers of the Prince of Air. Okay. Prince of Air. Air is ether, air, fire, water. So air is a very high level of consciousness, just below ether. So therefore it is high. And these are the powers, which one? The higher supraphysical planes are powers of the Prince of Air. Air being, in the ancient symbolism, the principle of life and therefore of the mid-worlds where the vital principle is predominant and essential. No, I'm sorry. Powers as the Prince of Air is the life principle and the mind principle. Okay. Air is actually often, sometimes water is seen as the principle of life, but as I said, these principles merge one into the other. So sometimes even the air is also considered as part of life. Okay, so actually, very strictly speaking, water is the not water, but what water represents. That is the life principle. But here, anyway, they are saying Prince of Air. Air being the ancient symbolism for the principle of life, and therefore of the mid-worlds. The mid-worlds are life and mind, where the vital principle is predominant and essential. Now, the adverse opposites are not then primal powers of the cosmos. In spiritual experience, when you go to the Brahmic consciousness, you don't see suffering, you don't see evil. Okay. Therefore, you can conclude the adverse opposites. Adverse opposites: death, suffering, evil, okay, falsehood. These are the opposites. They don't exist. They are not primal powers of the consciousness, but creations of life and mind in life. They are in the creations of life and mind. So when you go beyond life and mind, you don't see them at all. They don't exist. Okay. Their supraphysical aspects and influences on earth nature can be explained by the coexistence of worlds of a descending involution with parallel worlds of an ascending evolution, not precisely created by earth existence, but created as an annex to the descending world order and prepared support for the evolutionary terrestrial formations. Now, this is very interesting, and note very carefully, this explains a lot of things, what Selvi is saying. He is saying that there is an ascent and a descent. For manifestation, there is a descent, right? So in that descent, you are starting from the positives. You are starting from Chit, Shakti, Ananda, infinite. And so there can be no opposites, cannot be there. There can be a diminution, okay, but there cannot be opposites. This is one ladder which is coming down. You call it the involutionary ladder, okay. Then matter, supermind creates overmind, intuitive mind, element mind, higher mind, and then it creates mind, life, and matter. It also creates the inconscient. Okay? The inconscient is even more than matter. Matter has got some consciousness. It is capable of producing life. But inconscient is absolutely the opposite of Satchidananda. Not absolutely, because even there is a possibility, the seed form. So, in this ladder which is coming down, there is no evil. There is no falsehood. There is a diminution perhaps, but not falsehood. Now, when you are going from the bottom upwards evolutionary, you are starting from the opposite. You are starting from the darkness. You are starting from ignorance. You are starting from the opposite of light. And if there is no light, you don't know where you are going. So you are likely to make mistakes. And that is why these error, falsehood, evil, all these things come when you are starting from darkness. So in the evolution, in matter, there is no evil, there is no falsehood. Absolutely not, because it is dead. Nothing exists there. But as soon as life comes, you can go into various channels. You can go here, you can go there. It's like going through a forest. Okay? If you don't know, and you are going to go through the forest and come out from the other side, you are likely to make mistakes because you don't know. And that mistake also creates all sorts of things. I am coming and I come to a point where there are why only two? There can be 3, 4 paths leading outwards. I don't know which one to take. So I go and take one. And then suddenly I see that there's an obstruction. I can't go. So I learn and I come back. But in the other path, when I go, there are snakes and there are dangerous creatures which attack me. Then suffering comes. Okay. Then the other one, if you take all these things, they come from your ignorance. So life is creating, and mind, mostly it is life that creates. Okay? But see, so I'm saying very interestingly, creations of life or of mind in life. Even in mind, there is not much of evil and suffering. Okay? But mind in life, which is mind in life? Manas, the physical mind. The physical mind also is ignorant. Therefore, there can be all these things can be there. Okay. So, see how precise Srindu is. No? You understand now that mainly it's a vital. The life, when it comes, it starts creating all these things, the negatives. Okay. In matter, there isn't. But as soon as it comes, this starts. It's a production. It's a result of the evolutionary upward climb. These things. So when you go high, sufficiently high, there is no evil, there is no falsehood, all these things are not there. There may be diminution, there may be ignorance of a certain sort, but certainly not falsehood and evil. And suffering also is not there. In fact, suffering is not there very clearly because the Buddhists are saying exactly that. Go to the higher mind level, Brahmic consciousness, no suffering at all for you. For who? You is who? Your soul. Okay? Don't make a mistake. Your body, mind, life is still in the world, but your soul has gone up. You don't suffer. The body, mind, life will suffer, but you are not identified with it, so you don't suffer. Just as if I have a friend who has got cancer, I don't feel it. I'm not identified with him. Exactly in the same way, in the spiritual planes of consciousness, there is no suffering, no evil. Okay, no falsehood. That's what Sridhar is saying. Very clear. So there are two ladders. That's Sridhar is going to explain that. There is a downward ladder which is pure, and there is an upward ladder which is impure up to the mind level. Then once you climb up, again there is nothing. Okay, so their supraphysical aspects. I'm reading the next sentence. Their supraphysical aspects and influences on earth nature can be explained by the coexistence of worlds of a descending evolution with parallel worlds of an ascending evolution, not precisely created by Earth existence, but created as an annex to their descending world order and prepared support for their evolutionary terrestrial formations. Okay? So he's saying that how is it then that the planes of life and mind are affecting us in the physical world? He's saying that this is the explanation, that there are two parallel ladders, one coming down and one going up. And the one that is coming down is not created by the world, okay, not by Earth, not precisely created by Earth existence, but created as an annex to the descending world order. So, in other words, you can say in a way that there are three ladders. Okay, there is a ladder which is coming down, which is pure. There is a ladder which is going up, which is impure, and there is a third one in between the two. Okay, which is, because he's saying very clearly. He's saying not, where is it gone? Yeah, not precisely created by Earth existence. So the world, in the evolutionary ladder, it is not that. But there is something in between, and they are throwing their influences on the physical world. So you could say that there are three ladders. The third one, which we are speaking of, is to the inside, to the right side of, if you want, of the evolutionary ladder. And from there, the influences are coming. Okay, like we know that the elves and gnomes of the vital world are influencing us. Then there are the Gandharvas and the angels and the Kinnaras who are influencing us. So this is the third ladder that he's speaking about, in between. It's not created by the physical world. It's not the ladder which is going up, but it's an annex, Sindhu is saying. Okay. Annex to the descending world order and prepared support for the evolutionary terrestrial formations. So these higher worlds are a support for the evolutionary terrestrial formation. Now, I'll take you back to the other concept of how evolution occurs in two ways. Okay, then this question comes up again there. Evolution occurs in two ways. One is that in the inconscient itself, the divine is there. So the divine urge from below is there. But is that enough? So Swami is saying from the higher planes also, there is a pressure that is coming. That also we have discussed. Now, so when there is a pressure from above, there is a tendency to rise up. If you can see my image, I'll explain that by the two glasses of water you take, okay, and connect them at the bottom with a tube. If you press one on the left side, the water on the right side will rise. So this principle is being used here also. With the higher planes of consciousness, okay, the lower, okay, the lower supraphysical planes, life and mind, are pressing down upon the lower. Then there's an action. There's an inner action from the divine element in the matter itself, and there's a pressure from the higher mind, vital and mind on the matter to produce this. So it's a double thing. So that principle also is now very clear. And why is there? Because there is support. Without that push down, it may not come. And this also explains the necessity of the supermind coming down into the physical world. I was wondering, long ago, I used to wonder, if there is an evolution, natural evolution, we have discussed this earlier also, but I'm repeating. If there is a natural evolution, why is it necessary for Srivamdana to bring down the supramental? It is already there, involved. The principle exactly is this, that when the pressure from the higher comes down, then the supermind, which is already there in matter, will be encouraged and made easier to go up. Okay, so this is what that's why he had to do that, to speed up the evolution. If Srivamdana and Mother had not done that, then the supermind would have evolved maybe 1 million years afterwards. But because the pressure has been put, now it will be a question of only years, or even maybe a century, but only years and not millenniums. This is the, you can see all how the whole idea is gelling and becoming one. Okay? That is the reason. So these are the, what he's saying. One ladder coming down, one ladder going up, and the ladder going up is influenced by the worlds which are not created by the matter, not created by world, he's saying, but created as an annex to the descending world order. So you can say that the annex to the descending world order is the third ladder, you can say. Okay, so first ladder is descending order. Second ladder is the ascending order ladder. And the third one, which is an annex, is between the two, and it's not created by the, it is more an annex to the descending order. I hope I'm clear. So, and that is the world that is pressing upon and producing a quicker evolution. Okay, so this is the explanation he has given here very clearly. Now he is saying, here evil may appear, not as inherent in all life, but as a possibility and a pre-formation that makes inevitable its formation in the evolutionary emergence of consciousness out of the inconscient. We'll read that sentence again carefully. So, here, evil may appear. Where is the here? In the evolutionary upward movement, it may appear. Evil may appear. In the annex, it may appear. Not as inherent in our life, it is not absolutely essential, but as a possibility and a pre-formation that makes inevitable its formation in the evolutionary emergence of consciousness out of the inconscient. So, very clearly he has told you what the origin of falsehood and evil is. It's the planes of life that create the falsehood and evil. As soon as you go above, it's not there. You see it in a totally different way. Okay. However this may be, it is as an outcome of the inconscience that we can best watch and understand the origin of falsehood, error, wrong and evil. For it is in the return of inconscience towards consciousness that they can be seen taking their formation. And it is there that they seem to be normal and inevitable. So, very clear sentence is saying that in the upward evolution, okay, they come up. So, the origin of falsehood, error, and evil is the upward evolutionary trend, and in life, the plane of life mind, they come up. This is asuras and all these things are there. They are there in the upward evolution. They are a result. They are not fundamental principles. And there they may seem to be normal and even inevitable. Because all these worlds are populated. No? The worlds, the life worlds are populated by all sorts of creatures, including helpful creatures. Right? I'll tell you, and also playful creatures. I gave you examples of this. I didn't give you an example of the helpful creature. I'll give you one today. Okay. The playful creatures we have seen. Mother was in the Mediterranean and suddenly a storm comes and she sees that these small beings are enjoying themselves and creating the storm. So as soon as she went there and controlled them and said, shut up, in 15 minutes the storm subsided. Okay. No storm subsided in 15 minutes, but it happened in the. So that's the playful nature. Or the other playful nature of these vital beings are the clocks. All the clocks in the ashram stopping at one time. Okay, they're playful. But helpful also is there. You remember one of them was pulling mother's skirt, okay, or her lower garment, whatever it was, to say that the milk is about to boil. Okay, and they go there. Now the other one is also, there are beings that help flowers to bloom. Okay, small creatures are there. They help flowers to bloom. They are helpful creatures. But the best example of helpful creature is the incident in the press. I think I have spoken about it, but in a very, I won't speak too much about it because we don't have much time. But I'll just briefly tell you, and if you want next time, I'll tell you the whole incident. There was a machine which was very essential for the centenary work. 1970, we started the work in 1968, and to finish the work by 1972. The SABCL, Sri Aurobindo Birth Centenary Library. And they had only one machine, that is a Heidelberg machine, and it was essential. So, but there was a small defect, and we had called the mechanic, but the mechanic was not coming. Okay. But still the work was going on. It's a little bit of inconvenience, but the work was going on. When the mechanic came, he said that you are very lucky that the machine didn't break down. Okay. So it could have broken down any time, but you're very lucky that it didn't break down. Now, how is that happening? Because there was an incident where the watchman, one day, he opened the door. As I told you, we used to work early morning. From 4 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock at night, we used to work to complete the work. Okay, it is to go on continuously, the work is to go on. So when the watchman opened it at 3:30 in the morning, he saw one worker inside. Okay. And that worker was a very short fellow. There was a worker who was very short, and he thought that that's a fellow. And the door went and hit the wall. When it opened, it went and hit the wall. And as soon as it hit the wall, this fellow who he saw him inside, he ran away inside. Okay. So our watchman was very puzzled, and he said, "Why is this fellow hiding? Whole night he is there inside." So he started shouting loudly, "Hey, Shekhar, come out." Shekhar was the worker. He thought it was. And wherever he's going, 10 minutes he's going on calling, no Shekhar anywhere at all. So he was very puzzled. What is this happening? Who is this fellow? So there is no Shekhar anywhere. So in the morning when he's telling me, he realized that he had seen something which is not physical. Even when he is telling me the story, all his hair was standing up, in fright. Okay. That convinced me that what he's saying is true. And we wrote a letter to mother about this whole thing. And mother said, "Oh, This man is to be congratulated. Very few people see these gnomes, and your gnome was protecting the machine. Okay, so helpful beings in the life world, in the vital world, helpful beings. And Mother said it's very interesting because in Europe they call these beings Heidelberg gnomes, and the machine was a Heidelberg machine. So it's very interesting, this story. So there are all sorts of creatures there, playful creatures. Then there are also asuras, and there are evil forces also in the vital world. Okay, so that's what Sundar is saying. It starts from the vital world, not from the. It is not there in the higher planes of consciousness. That's the what he is explaining, the origin of falsehood and evil. But he has taken a lot of time and examining each possibility and saying, is it there? Is it there? Is it there? Then finally he says, when you go to the higher levels of consciousness, you see that it is originating, all these things are originating from the life world. And in the mind world proper, pure mind, it is not there either. But it is there in the physical mind. You remember there are three minds, the physical mind, the vital mind, and the pure mind. The pure mind is that which is logical, clear thinking, and interested only in knowledge. The physical mind is interested in physical things. A very clever mechanic, for instance, of machines, has got a very developed physical mind. Okay. And the vital mind is that which makes you have desires. Okay? So this is what Sundar is saying. Okay. So
Can one say that these
yes.
gnomes and fairies and all are in
Yeah.
the galaxy of the third ladder?
That's what Sundar is saying. Yes. And from there they influence the life world in the world.
Oh.
Yeah.
But
From
are
there they
they
influence. Yes.
in the subtle physical also?
Subtle physical, I don't think they can be there, no? Subtle physical, they are not there. They are life creatures. In subtle physical, they are not there, but the subtle physical is a way of speaking. Okay, so they have bodies. These Nells and gnomes, they have bodies, they have forms. So that's the subtle physical. Their body and their forms are subtle physical.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Then Rangada,
Yes.
those are helpful. Those are helpful vital beings. As
Yeah.
you said, they are also coming to being in the annex,
Yes. Yes.
not descending.
No, that's right.
Oh, then
Yeah.
on the annex, in the annex, the
Yes.
the origin of evil is also in the annex, and also all the helpful fairies and the helpful vital beings, their origin is also in that annex.
I don't think that the annex worlds have evil in them. The evil is in the ladder which is going up. Only in the physical world they are there.
Oh.
These are very subtle things, and we can't do. But they can be there in the I think he is saying that they are there in the annex also. Yeah, I think
So
you are right. In the annex.
can one imagine that you have two vertical ladders, one up
Yes.
which is coming down and one
Yes.
down which is going up, and in between
That's
the
right.
two ladders you've got a
Yes.
horizontal ladder which is the annex?
Yeah, you can say that. But I don't know if it's horizontal or diagonal or whatever, but it's an annex. Yeah, that's what he's saying. Okay, but you can understand it any way you want, but that's exactly what he's saying. Okay, call it horizontal, call it diagonal, call it anything you want, but it's an annex. You've got the basic idea right. Okay, yeah, that's
So
it.
Rangata, we also can become an annex in some life due to and because of the karma, there is some special being. No, these are certain special.
these words are they are typal words. You
Okay.
are a divine soul. So the divine soul, you can enter these annex worlds, but you can't become them.
Okay.
You can become you are essentially divine.
Uh-huh.
They
Yeah.
don't have a psychic being.
No, they
The
don't.
norms and fairies don't have a psychic being like what we have.
No,
So
they don't have.
we are evolving, they are not evolving. They are
That's
what they
right.
are.
Hmm.
That's right. Permanent nature.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like they live forever, all these
Yes.
beings.
Yes, immortal. They are
Oh,
immortal. Yeah.
immortal means they will never
Yes.
come out of this stage of
They
their life.
exist forever. Yes.
Oh my.
And what do they do all the time?
They play, they have mischief, they create evil if necessary. They live. And what, Yasmin, there's a very interesting Parsi book, okay? And the name of that book is The Laws of the Supraphysical Worlds. It's a very interesting, and there your question is answered. What do they do? Okay. There's a very interesting book, Laws of the Supraphysical World. There is a Parsi lady who had two children. Okay. And in a motor accident, those two children, they die. Okay. They're two brothers. And they have gone into this supraphysical plane of consciousness. They're there. Okay. And what happens? This lady is so keen to contact them that through a medium she contacts them, and then she establishes a relation, and these two brothers go on telling her all sorts of things which she notes down, and she has brought out a book, and that is in there. They do everything that is there. All that men do here, they are there in the subtle worlds, and they do that. They live. Okay. They even eat. Okay. Very interesting. So it's a very interesting book. If you want, you can read. I've just gone through that book. But it came out long ago. Came out 25, 30 years ago. Very
Like
interesting. So your question, what do
But
they do?
that means these two brothers, they did not after death, the physical dissolve, vital dissolve, mental dissolve, all that didn't happen.
Hmm.
The psychic being of theirs didn't go back to the psychic world.
They were in the higher worlds, their body dissolved, their vital dissolved or not, they must have dissolved because they were in a pure consciousness. Okay. Only the mental worlds, they were there probably in the mental world, that did not dissolve. Or even if that dissolves, their psychic being is there. And their psychic being is guiding them and telling them.
We can say that this is another level of Swarg. That Swarg, Nark has a 7 layers. At the same time, Swarg also has a many stages. So they must be in some one level of a Swarg.
Absolutely, absolutely correct. What you're saying. Swarg also is there are many, many levels and many, many worlds also are there.
Ah.
Very many worlds. Brahma Loka, okay, Ananda Loka, Jana Loka. They are all worlds that exist in these planes, higher planes. And they live there. They live there and do everything. Okay, we'll have to stop here.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Rangala.